One of the key elements of the 7-minute life is the simplicity of creating a written daily plan of action that allows you to move forward toward accomplishing goals that are meaningful in your life, both personally and professionally. In this section, we're going to be talking about how to create your 5 before 11 list. The 5 before 11 list, in order to accomplish those things that are most important, we're going to help you define how you can choose the 5 highest value activities you will commit to accomplish before 11 o'clock. In other words, ask yourself, what are the 5 highest value activities I will commit to start and completely finish before 11 o'clock? Now, before people really get hung up on this 11 o'clock, the key is to actually get these 5 things completed before 11 a.m. But it's a theory. The theory of getting 5 things accomplished every day is a powerful tool. So even though we want to encourage you to complete your 5 before 11 by 11 a.m., it's okay if you create your 5 before 11 by 11 p.m. Before we can talk about the 5 before 11 list, I need to go back to the last section and just give a quick recap of the daily progress report. The daily progress report is where the 7-minute life began. The 7-minute life has been created to improve time management, but to do that in an incredibly simple way. As you worked on the daily progress report, you decided to take 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning to create specific daily plans of action. We talked about taking that 7 minutes to create a to-do list, to think through what really is most important, what are those top priorities that you need to accomplish, to clarify those things, to become crystal clear on what are your priorities. If time is truly limited, what are the top 5 high-value activities that you can narrow down your scope to accomplishing the following day? These 5 high-value activities are what we call the 5 before 11 list. And this section is one of the most powerful tools the 7-minute life offers. People come to the 7-minute life primarily for 3 reasons. Initially, they'll Google, how can I improve my time management, or how can I improve my daily productivity, or I want to be more efficient. These are the 3 things that people come to the 7-minute life to learn. The 7-minute life is a time management company. We also focus deeply on helping people align how they spend their time with how they live their life, understanding their personal priorities, purpose, and passion. That's an entirely different course. But my guess is someone either told you we were a time management company or you Googled it. Now, here's the key with the 5 before 11. Time management is actually a backward-looking concept. In other words, you do not know if you have improved your time management until you look backward to see if you've been more productive today than you were yesterday. Productivity is also a backward-looking attribute, and so is efficiency. Efficiency is defined as using the least amount of resources to put the most amount of output. The only way you know that is if you look backward to see if you've done those things. Therefore, time management, you have to look back to see if you've had good time management. Productivity, daily productivity, you have to wait until the end of the day and look back. Same thing's true with efficiency. The only way you know if you're efficient is if you use less resources to produce more in today than you did yesterday. All of these things are backward looking. The only thing that is forward looking is action. Action is the only thing you can control. I want you to really ponder that. Action is the key to all of time management. Action is walking in with some kind of to-do list that you can actually do, having tasks that you can take action to complete. Action is forward looking. It's coming in with a list that you have narrowed, you've thought about, you've prioritized, and you've made a commitment to move forward. And you have that choice of forward moving activity. So the key to time management is actually action. In other words, when people create a written daily plan, your daily plan does not require more efficiency, it requires more action. Are you doing the right things? Do you actually have a plan and know how to complete them? So creating your 5 before 11 list is key, and it's awesome. When you create your 5 before 11 list, you are literally taking time to define, to think through what are the 5 and only 5, what are the 5 highest value, and this is key, micro actions will you commit to accomplish before 11? Again, it could be 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. What are the 5, let me clean this off, what are the 5 high value, the highest, most important things that you can commit to accomplish before 11 o'clock? This is where the action comes into play. If you define 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, and you are able to start and finish each task and be able to mark them off your list with the knowledge that these tasks are moving you forward towards your goal, the outcome of that is improved time management. It is improved productivity, and it definitely is improved efficiency. But we can't continue to look backward. We have to increase our action to move forward. How do you do that? The daily progress report, you can download it from the top of this class under the curriculum, under downloads. The daily progress report, it's the single tool to create efficiency. It's the single tool to create that daily plan of action. You have to have a written plan of action, and you have to be able to repeat something over and over and over again. That's why you'll want to use the daily progress report forever. As you started taking this, you remembered that the first thing I want you to do on your daily progress report is to put a date. In other words, to create ownership that you are going to be a good steward of your time. So you're going to circle in the day, write the date, and then first thing, after you've created your to-do list, you're going to narrow that scope into your 5 before 11 list, and you're going to write these things down, simply 5 tiny steps, and you're going to make that emotional commitment to accomplish them. One of the pieces that we have to be sure that we're aware of on this 5 before 11 list, they have to be tiny actions. An action is not useful if we actually only finish part of the action. Let's say that we're working on something that we want to commit. We've committed to finish it today, and we start the action here, and all of a sudden a phone call comes in or a text message, and we are interrupted. And what happens with an interruption is that here you are working on a task, you're all of a sudden interrupted, you decide that whatever you've just seen is more important, and so now you have moved off into a different direction. Part of the beauty of having tiny steps on your 5 before 11 list, of course, we're all going to get distracted. We're all going to have interruptions. But rather than let that distraction send you off into all different kinds of ways, once the distraction or interruption is completed, You can come right back to your written daily plan of action, see which task you were working on, and continue until you reach the end of the task and can mark it off. Therefore, this is where the 5 before 11 gets really exciting. Far too many people write down projects on their to-do list. For example, a to-do might be complete marketing plan. And we all seem to want to put that down. It's a project. You cannot walk into the office and have complete plan on your 5 before 11 list. It may be incredibly important, but to create a marketing plan can take weeks of preparation. You may have to have meetings and agendas and goals and milestones. The 5 before 11 list is only there to put micro actions, things that take less than 20 minutes, so that in your narrow amount of time that you have, your limited attentional bandwidth, limited amount of time, you can actually put something that you can start and completely finish within that 20-minute span of time. So rather than write complete marketing plan on this list, you might say schedule time for review of last year's marketing plan. Now that's a great place to start. Instead of going and saying, I'm going to write all of the plan, which could take weeks, why not just schedule time to pull out last year's marketing plan and read through it? That is a micro action that may take you, hopefully could take you less than 20 minutes. You can pull out the plan, look at the highlights, and literally mark that off your schedule. I think you can see that almost all of the things that we put on our to-do list are actually projects. A project is something that takes more than 20 minutes. A project needs planning, and a project must be eventually broken down into these micro actions. So you may have numerous steps until you can get down into tiny actions that will take you less than 20 minutes to start and finish. If you remember, the only thing we have control over is increasing our action. Unfortunately, our brains and our memories have a limited amount of time, so we created this concept of micro action. What are those tiny things you can start and completely finish in short amount of times? This is how I defined a high value activity that is a micro action. This is the type of thing that you will want to put on your list. First, it has to be very clear. You can see it, you understand what's needed to complete it. A micro action needs to be able to complete it by one person. In other words, it's not a micro action if you're waiting on someone to get back to you so you can complete that project. Number 3, that 20-minute limit. You need to be able to complete a micro action within what we call attentional bandwidth. Information studies say that the average adult has an attention span of somewhere between 2 seconds and 20 minutes. And I would say that's probably true for me, true for almost all of the people I coach. If this is the case, that our attention span is limited, then we need to create micro actions that we can complete within our own attention span. We also want to review and make sure the task is in alignment with the highest and best use of our time in the role that we play. Is this task moving me forward toward a goal? I like to include at least some micro actions that utilize my personal strengths. I can accomplish those tasks more quickly. I like math, I like writing, If I'm inside that zone, I can accomplish these micro actions and mark them off the list. This is one of the big keys. In order for a micro action to be on your list, it must be something that can be started and completely finished within that 20 minutes. And always, 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 these actions should be moving you forward towards your goal. We get a lot of questions. Are the 5 before 11, can you have personal actions on there? Or do they only need to be business actions? The answer is, of course, we can have personal. We can have all kinds of personal actions on there. It can be personal and business because we all have personal goals that we want to move forward. Here's where we begin to wrap up. If you were to create a 5 before 11 list and be able to accomplish those things over the next 7 days, tiny little steps, things that are very well thought out, tasks that are important, that can be completed. Some tasks may take 2 minutes. I need to return a call. Some tasks may be projects that you've broken down into micro actions, so you're constantly taking steps forward. If you were to use this concept of 5 before 11 for the next 7 days, you would accomplish 35, here's the key, high value actions. 5 high value activities that are moving you forward. Can you imagine 35 high value activities? And it all ties back to that 7 minutes in the evening and 7 minutes in the morning. We have to choose to come in with a written plan of action, not respond and react to chaos, but to take 7 minutes in the evening to decide, take 7 minutes in the morning to recalibrate. But the 7-minute life is not built on a 7-day platform. The 7-minute life is built on a 90-day platform. Why? Partly because corporate earnings are on a quarterly basis. And companies want to be able to track progress quarter by quarter every 90 days. But the bigger reason that I chose to put the 7-minute life on a 90-day platform is because nature uses this. Approximately every 90 days, the seasons change. So we go from fall to winter to spring to summer back to fall. And one of the things I love about this 90 days is if I'm having a tough 90 days, when that 90-day platform ends, I've got a do-over. I have a brand new 90 days to move forward. That's why it's important. If you accomplish your 5 before 11 list for the next 90 days, and this is crazy compounding, you would have accomplished 450, here's the key, 450 high value actions in the next 90 days. Remember, time management is backwards looking. Productivity is backward looking. Efficiency is backward looking. The only thing we have the ability to have forward looking is action. The 7-minute life, the 5 before 11, breaking things down into tiny steps that will constantly move you forward. We call that the 5 before 11 list. It's something that we need to practice day after day after day. Part of the emotional benefit is what we call the power of the check mark. When you walk in with 5 tiny things that you can accomplish, and they're very specific and tiny, that are moving you forward, the power of the check mark of marking these things off and seeing them done. These 5 before 11, we've talked in the last segment about the daily progress report, all of the sections. I'd like you to begin to master this one concept of creating 5 high-value micro actions that you will commit to accomplishing before 11 o'clock. This is the last slide of this. The power of the check mark boils down to one question that's at the bottom of the daily progress report. Did I do what I said I would do today? That is a powerful question. Did I do what I said I would do today? And it is a yes or no question. This is that backward-looking question of did I do what I said I would do today? And the answer that will allow you to put yes in that box is to have a written plan of action, to have broken those things down into tiny micro actions, and that 5 before 11, if you accomplish the 5 highest value activities that you've said you would do, this is the key element, one of the most important philosophies, principles, and practices of the 7-minute life. When you get to that point that you can say, I did what I said I would do today, I accomplished my 5 before 11, I checked those things off. At that point, you can look at your list, you can look at your life, and you said, I have done enough today. Getting to enough is one of the most important things that I want to help people do, where they stop saying, oh, let me finish one more thing, just one more thing. As you look at that 24 hours, every additional task that you let into your life automatically kicks something else out. When you say, I'm going to accomplish one more thing, you are kicking out something else. It's important to learn that point that we get to enough. Accomplishing your 5 before 11 can take you to that point. I'm so excited you've learned about the theory of 5 before 11, and I look forward to seeing you in the next segment.